don't know if you know the story or not. I may have told it once before, but you got a few minutes. It's mamish. We're learning Tafshin Chav Aleph. So this is a mind that happened at Sukkot. This story happened at Sukkot. And later by Yosef Tzvi Segal was the Rosh Kollel, big Talmid Chacham. He was brought here to Montreal to Fabring with the downtown. He's Rosh Kollel of the Tzemach Tzedek Kollel Yerushalayim. He relates as follows: at the end of Chodesh Elul Tafshin Chav, right? So looking at Elul, we're learning the whole Tafshin Chav. He was a big makurah to the Beis Yisrael. They get the Rebbe 3 Rebbes ago. He was a big makurah. Himself became a Lubavitcher. If I'm not mistaken, he learned in Yeshivas Kol Torah. A lot of Kol Torah top Bochum became Lubavitchers in the 60s and earlier maybe. I'm not mistaken. I called upon him. So I told the Rebbe the Beis Yisrael that I'm planning to go for Tishrei to the Rebbe, to Lubavitch. So when he heard about my plan, he placed shlichus. Sometimes that he gave me a shlichus, important shlichus to give over to the Rebbe. And amongst things I had to convey, he said as follows: I'm in the soll grüßen der Lubavitcher Rebbe und ihm wünschen Aksivach Simeteva from my name. Give regards to the Rebbe and wish him in my name. I came to 770, so I told Rav Chadika that I have a shlichus from the Gerer Rebbe. He took this very seriously and said that I should give it personally in Yechidus, not in writing. When it came my turn for Yechidus, so I gave over the shlichus, and when I mentioned the regards and the bracha from the Gerer Rebbe, the Rebbe stood up and heard the word standing. Then he said Amen and sat down and said, Rebbe soll helfen, soll genommen werden alle brachas, was jeden wünschen sich einen zum anderen. Hashem should help that it should be received on high, all the brachas, one yid blesses the other. And you could see on the Rebbe's face, Svias Rotzam Yeched, that Rebbe had much pleasure in receiving his bracha from the Gerer Rebbe. The end of Yom Tov, when I went back to Yisrael, it was Thursday night. So I wanted to go right away to the Beis Yisrael, to the Gerer Rebbe, to tell him that I had fulfilled my shlichus and the bracha that he had given over to the Rebbe. But I was exhausted from the trip, which is close to 20 hours in those days. So I said, I'll go on Sunday, because Erev Shabbos and Motzei Shabbos, Chassidim come to the Rebbe to give shalom, to be blessed by him. So I'll go Sunday. Next day, Friday, I met one of the close people of the Gerer Rebbe, one of the Shemoshim, Bashbaks. He said to me, "You by the Rebbe already yet? Me and the Gerer Rebbe?" I said, "No." He said, "What?" He said, "No, wait, you have to give in right away." Okay, so this was Friday, Motzei Shabbos, I'm going. So when I went in Motzei Shabbos, the Gerer Rebbe asked me about this and the story or not? About this and about that. And then he says to me, tell me something that the Rebbe said. I wrote. So I asked back, this is Segal is saying, I asked back to the Gerer Rebbe, do you mean something from the Yechidus? The Rebbe said to me, he says, no. Then maybe something the Rebbe said by Fabrengen? No. So what am I supposed to give over? Not from Yechidus, not from Fabrengen? Then, so maybe he means something the Rebbe said at the meal, a Yom Tov meal. And the Yom Tov meal is, as you know, went till the Rebbetzin, the Rebbetzin, till 1970, all the meals were held upstairs in the Fig Rebbe's apartment. She died, it was over. So I said to him, Efshem mentem Rebbe, something about the Suda. He says, yeah, that's what I want to hear. How does the Rebbe conduct himself by the Suda? So I told him the way the conduct is that upstairs in the apartment, and the Rebbe sits where he always sat. The Fitiger's place is there, and he asked, even the place of the Fitiger Rebbe, there's chalas and wine. Prepared for him. I don't know what the answer is, but he just asked. And then he said, no, Zog Epesib, so he got the description, and now he wants to hear, no, Zog Epesib Ravot was said, Gezok dort, and say something that was said at the meal. Now this Segel was, which meal was he at? Sukkot. The Sukkah. So I remember something that happened at one of the meals in Sukkot. I didn't want to say it. I told him, you'll soon hear why. It's difficult for me to give over this, what happened. He said, no, this is what I want to hear. This is what he... So I told him what happened. When I saw Yom Kippur, the Rebbe was clear, it was very... Yom Kippur was in the apartment upstairs, in the second floor. So the Rebbe's face was glowing with simcha. And at that Suda with very choshev Rabbanim that came from Chassidic, I told you the first charter came from Chassidic was for Tishrei Tavshin Chaf Aleph, which we're learning. The Mayim Babak Shuponai, which is Muga, was just a Mayim said that covered there's 96 people came, big thing. Chassidic, the charter playing for Tishrei. This Mayim was a Kabbalah Sponim. The Bak Shuponai.
They made a lottery to see who would get tickets.
No, I don't think so. No, that's every year lottery. Here you paid and went, and they filled the plane. So in addition, every year to chartered flights, it was also a lottery. People couldn't afford them. So at that Fabrega, I just mentioned, at the Suda, there was, and the whole Tishrei were big, the famous Rabbanim and the Babish, which is Am Garelik, the Rav of Kachabad, the Chaim Shalbruk, the Mashpia, in Rishon LeZion, famous legendary Chassid, the Shemaya Lachem Sasonkin, Yerushalayim, Lachem Trebnik, David Hansen, these all famous Rabbanim, and others. So the Rebbe turned, this Matzah Yom Kippur, the Rebbe is in this elated state, frame of mind, and he turns to the Rabbanim and he says, it was printed in the newspapers that Choshev Rabbanim came to Tishrei. So on the Paskin, and when Maskim Zad as Mashiach is coming, they should Paskin and agree Mashiach should come. One of the Rabbanim responded, who are we that we should agree? Who are we? The Rebbe should agree. Rebbe's face changes dramatically. And the glow and the simcha completely disappeared. And then said in a tone of pain, you're waiting for my Askamah? That's what's missing is my Askamah. When this Rav heard the Rebbe, saw the Rebbe's response, and saw the face, and he realized he did something terrible. And he excused himself and tried to rectify it, but the Rebbe ignored it and didn't respond to the Rav. A few days later, this is the Suda, so Segel was there. It was the Suda of the first night of Sukkot. And this Segel merited to be there. So when they're giving out, they're serving the portions, one of the Rabbanim turns to the Rebbe and says, what should the Bachim, the Orchim, how should they conduct themselves the second day Yom Tov? It's a whole shayla. If someone comes back, she said, it tends to go back. Do you keep Yom Tov, not keep Yom Tov? She was asking, there's different shittas by the Rabbanim. See, he's continuing, like to explain his question, and the Rebbe says to him, Yom Tov Sheni Shel Golus? He asked him at the second day, Yom Tov in Golus, Yiddish, Yotach das gekent in ganzen Versprochen. This could have been completely avoided. The whole question of the second day of Golus. So this Rav, hearing this, starts trembling, and again starts excusing it. But again, the Rebbe is like ignoring him, and the conversation moved to something else. That's the story he said I told to the Beis Yisrael, the Getter Rebbe. And I'm telling him the story, I was amazed to see that he's looking at me with a whole intensity and with an unusual intensity. And when I finished telling the story, I saw his eyes became red and 2 tears flowed down his cheeks. And he said, Oy vey, soll schon sein Git, repeated himself in deep in thought, Oy vey, soll schon sein Git, it may already be good. As I'm standing there, he says, I'm very emotional from what I'm seeing, and the deep intensity on the Getter Rebbe's demeanor and his whole being. Or you could, he said this like like looking at me. And for a long time, he's just silent, deep in thought, and then began the conversation. His footnote is, while I was standing there, I remembered the famous story with the Arizal. With the Arizal, it's brought down in the, I think by his Talmud, Chaim Betal, one Friday afternoon. Rabbi told the story. He told his Talmudim and said, come, let's go to Makabel Shabbos in Yerushalayim. So some of them said, we're just going to go and ask our wives. Tell them, inform them. It was over. The Shas HaKosher. Yeah, and there are many other similar stories with Rebbe as well, but this is not Chas v'Shalom to make us despondent, because now it's already, we're over all of these stories, and it's taken now, we should be Zoiche, this in Kippur, we should be Zenzach with the Rebbe, in Beis HaMikdash, and the Rebbe said to find ourselves, how it's going to be, we'll see, in Kodesh HaKadoshim Mamash. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, with that of Shabbos.